Mama, mama, can't you see what this world has done to me? They put me in a barber's chair. When I looked, I had no hair. For if I die in a combat zone, box me up and ship me home. Pin that medal up on my chest. Tell my mama I did my best. 400 years ago, we were slaves, bound by our arms, necks, and our legs. But we've broken those chains. We've snatched them from our necks, broken them from our arms, and kicked them from our legs. But we're still held captive. Captive to the intellect in which we refuse to allow penetration into our minds. It's called ignorance, a disease in which many are plagued with to this very day. I read this letter by a man who goes by the name of Willie Lynch, and he proclaimed that he found a way to enslave our minds for the next 300 years, and thus far, 80% of his letter has come true. He said to put the old black males versus the young black males, and we see it today through comments like, "Don't tell me what to do. You're not my father." He said to put the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves, and we see it today through comments like, "He looks white. She talks white. They can't be black." But I would like to know, where has all this division come from? See, back in the day, there were two types of Negroes. There were your house Negroes and your field Negroes. See, the house Negroes lived with the master, ate with the master, and dressed pretty well, while those field Negroes slaved mercifully in the cotton fields, picking cotton that their children might have a place to rest their heads at night. So someone tell me, where have all of our field Negroes gone? Moving gracefully across plantations like quarterbacks on football fields, yelling things like, "Hut 1, Hut 2, go long." Well, my grandmother lived in Hut 1 and my grandfather lived in Hut 2, and they went long. Bloodied feet from walking across plantations that I might receive a tangible education. Have you ever seen death, the beating of two horses in opposite directions, only to tear a man's flesh from his bone to instill the fear of God in those slaves? Harriet Tubman states that her only regret is that she freed hundreds of slaves, but she could have freed thousands. If only they knew they were slaves. Understand that until we free our minds, we will always be held captive.